Hello, good evening, and welcome back. Short the FTSE 100, take some time off work, be at one with nature. That's basically what you have to look forward to. You know that the economy is going to suffer for a bit longer, so you might as well short the stocks using your own trusted site. I've no idea which one you feel comfortable using, that you don't think they're going to take your money once you start making it, because they're not reputable. But use whatever. You can self-isolate, but who the fuck wants to be stuck in their own home for 2 weeks straight and not allowed to go outside other than in your own garden with your neighbours sneezing over the fence? So surely you'd much rather be a one with nature. So, hey, get a Trangia, the little saucepans, a portable gas-burning stove, get some dried food, get a couple of rucksacks, take yourself, your friends, your partner, whoever you trust to not have it, whoever you want to be with. Go out camping for a week or a couple of weeks, go for a long walk, go for a hike. Work isn't going to be in either now or soon. They're going to suspend work for a bit anyway. So you might as well go enjoy a more relaxing environment, go into nature, and just enjoy the countryside. You're going to be so far from other people that it's not going to be an issue. If you see somebody like half a mile away, then just walk in a different direction from them. You can treat it like a zombie apocalypse if you want, but hey, whatever's going to keep you safe. You don't have to come in contact with anybody you don't want to. Just plan a lovely week or 2 weeks away. As soon as you get permission from your work to say that they're not going to be in for a week or two, you could stay at home, but hey, why not take the opportunity to go out traveling? And I don't mean that it has to be to different countries and cultures. It's just into the countryside. Pick your local national park, Brecon Beacons, the Peak District, the Pennines, wherever it might be. Just go frolic away. You'll feel much better for it afterwards as well. It'll be a much more tranquil, relaxing experience. Spend a week. You don't even have to check the time or the date. Just set a reminder on your watch or your phone, whatever it might be, just to say, in a week's time, remind me that I need to go back to civilization, because I'll probably lose track of the days by then. So just plot a lovely little route, go around and enjoy your time in the countryside. And the vitamin D and the greenery that you'll be receiving, you'll feel so much better off for. And hey, it might be a good time to get into a meditative routine in order to then plan your future. I'm a strong believer in that every cloud has a silver lining, so why not use this as an opportunity to plan your life more so? If you're not the kind of person who wants to go into nature and the outdoors, then pick up a new skill. It could be an instrument, it could be learning to code, it could be a language, it could be just trying to plan your future, it could be that you want to get a good diet and exercise regimen, and so you just do some bodyweight stuff in your bedroom or your apartment, whatever it might be that you live in. As long as you got a couple of square meters space, then you'll be fine. You can do that. Because when it comes to the character of a human being, it isn't what you do when other people are watching, but it's what you do when people aren't watching. So a situation like this of the coronavirus is an exceptional opportunity to be able to plan for yourself without being told what to do, and you are the master of your own destiny. You can actually get yourself going, and it isn't like a planned week off that you got for months in advance. We're like, oh, I'm going to take a week away and just relax and not think about anything. You're already in work mode, and suddenly this has come up. So you're not going to be relaxing and taking a week off work and just trying to distance yourself from it, because you're already going to be in work mode, which means you're prepared to think of the current situation you're in as well as the future. And because you can't then go, oh, well, that's the end of the weekend, time to get back to work. But instead you actually have to think about what you're going to be doing for that week. I think it's enough time to, sure, have a bit of existential dread, bit of a crisis, but be able to work through that and then plan your future from that. So I think it's a great opportunity that I highly recommend you take. But with that in mind, the topic in hand, they say coronavirus UK deaths double in 24 hours. So yes, for everybody saying you should get some food and rations in, and being mocked for it to say, oh, you're just fear-mongering. It's like, well, it's always good to be prepared. It could be the coronavirus, or it could be a storm, it could be a power outlet, it could be water contamination, it could be a whole host of things. it's good to be prepared, to have a week or two, or maybe even a month spare food. I don't think that's anything to be frowned about. So, oh, you're such a prepper. It's like, well, I'm not inconveniencing you at all. I'm just taking care of myself and my family. There's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, I still don't think coronavirus is going to be an issue for your own health. Possible exceptions are scarred lungs and infertility, as has been the case in some men, but that hasn't really been confirmed to be coronavirus. And the deaths in the UK are all from people who have underlying health conditions. But they do say that the total number of confirmed cases in the UK has reached 1,140, which isn't that many considering we're an island and we can just close our borders. So Russia's only got 28. And that's not quite landlocked because it's on the border of the Northern Ocean. But if they can close the borders and only have a few dozen cases, and we're an island and we have over 1,000, then I think they've got a better idea than we do. In response, of course, Donald Trump has decided to suspend all travel between the US and the UK and Ireland, as well as all the other European countries as well. Basically, it all comes down to, let's consolidate our own borders, keep track of the people who are inside our country, and try and do what's best for them, which is what a government should be doing anyway. So well done. If it's then prioritised to say the nationals of your own country instead of just the people that are in your country, then that'll be even more ideal. And then weaning yourself off foreign aid, and of course, as much as we all like free market capitalism, when it comes to using foreign trade, that people should be understanding that they're on a tightrope, and if you don't have any backup, then if there is any disaster, like any natural disaster, really, and it could be nuclear as well, but it could be an earthquake, a tsunami, or a virus, then if you don't have your supply chain set up in somewhere that isn't at risk, like China, then you're going to be affected. So it isn't necessarily nationalist, but it's just understanding that you need divergent resources. That might mean that you're more pricey than your competitors because you aren't just relying on the cheapest, but it does mean you have something to fall back on. And of course, that's what we're finding now with different retailers, that some are surviving and some aren't, depending on who they're reliant on for their goods. So you've got the middle class shops like Tesco and Sainsbury's, which are barren, and then you've got Aldi and Lidl, which are doing fine, and they're just going to be ordering in some more stock, and there isn't going to be a problem. So it's nice to see how it all links in together there. But yeah, there isn't a problem of stock shortages. It's just, oh, we've got people buying more than we expected. Let's just order in some more kit. The issue though with China manufacturing is when it's more of a globalist idea that it supersedes nations' boundaries, and therefore as it came after the Lunar New Year, then the stock supplies are being impacted by a shortage, as the people in China aren't travelling back to their places of work after being home for the Lunar New Year. That's essentially it. And then we're too much reliant on China. So they say that people who are self-isolating with mild symptoms are no longer being tested for the virus. The government said on Friday it estimated the true number of UK cases to be around 5 to 10,000. So 10 times as many as have actually been confirmed at the moment. And yes, if you have socialised healthcare like we do in the UK, you don't get to decide where your money is spent. That's what taxes are. Yeah, you get to vote once every few years, whatever it might be, to a party that you disagree with the least, and hopefully they enact policies that you are kind of agreeable with, but they're still going to be spending your money on a way that you don't agree with. And then when it comes to the NHS, you might be thinking, okay, well, what I'd like to do is test myself and the other people that I want to be with for a week or two while we're self-isolating. So I'd like to test us to know. Let's do that. And then the NHS says, well, no. And then you've got to try and find another way around it. But of course, the NHS makes it very difficult to do that because it's government run, and they don't like you going outside the NHS and going to a competent professional. So then you can't find out if you've got the coronavirus or not. So they're just getting in the way. They say a mother and a newborn baby are among the latest confirmed to have the virus in England, but they're trying to confirm whether it was during the birth or before that the baby contracted the coronavirus. They don't know, they're just concerned that not only is it transferable much more than a regular flu, but it is also much more fatal. Regular flu being about 0.1% and coronavirus being at about 1%, but that could be up to 10% depending on whose predictions you use. I think the World Health Organization, the WHO, has it at about 2% at the moment, but they've all got underlying health conditions already. As I say, with the exception of scar tissue in the lungs, which seems to be the main one, just because you're coughing too much, there doesn't seem to be any problem for younger people, at least, people who don't have pre-existing health conditions. But at that point, it just comes down to knowing that, hey, you're going to have to die of something. If you're already weak, then compared to what nature would do to you, you're already living on borrowed time because nature would have killed you already, and we've kept you alive as humans and human advancement. So be grateful for your extra time, but don't take it for granted. Not that you should take your life for granted anyway, but especially if you have a pre-existing medical condition, don't take your life for granted because nature would have killed you by now. So the coronavirus is just sweeping that up. Same thing as if you're old. You used to die of old age, now you basically just die of cancer and coronary heart disease. So now you can die of coronavirus as well. Isn't that exciting? Even though there are only a couple dozen people who have died in the UK from coronavirus, and they've all had pre-existing medical conditions. People are complaining about other people shopping and saying, oh, that's so selfish. It's like, me taking care of my family is selfish? How about fuck off? How about if we all do what's best for ourselves, we don't need to have a government trying to think what would be best for the individual despite not understanding any of us at an accurate level. Yeah? Cool. Let's let Tesco order in some new stock and we'll all be fine. Because what you're saying is, hey, you thought ahead more than me. You were actually taking action while I was being lazy. Aren't you selfish for actually being proficient and competent? And I'm just lazy and slow to react and unthinking and blaming all of my problems on you. That is the message you're putting across. Anybody like Michelle Davis, who posts a post like this, that is the message you're putting across. That you weren't forward thinking and you're blaming everybody else for your own problem. So, well done, Michelle. It's one of those great times where you just point out yourself, isn't it? That's it. You're showing up yourself. You think you're making yourself look good, but you're showing yourself to be a failure. Really, you're letting down your family. So that's it for now. It does get sickening, ironically, to talk about coronavirus all the time, so I'm trying to avoid it. So the main thrust of this will be, if your work says you should self-isolate and take time off, then get your goods together, go frolicking off to nature for a week or two. I understand it's a bit cold, so just take some extra blankets, warm clothing, use your car if you want, and camp outside of your car. Keep yourselves warm, keep yourselves toasty, keep yourselves well fed, and exercise frequently. Enjoy nature, enjoy the fresh air. You're going to be so far away from other people that you're not going to have to worry about the contagion. So don't worry about that. As the weather gets warmer, the virus will be killed off sooner anyway, because it can't survive in the high heat. So you'll be fine. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay active, make the most of your time off work if you get it, and until next time, have a good one.